Hi, my name is Lukey, and I'm a Streamaholic.
Hello there, I'm the Warship and I'm a Streamaholic.
Well, hello there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Streamaholics episode 10. As you heard before, my name is Lukey, and together with me is the Warship as always. Hey, Shippy.
That's me. Hello, welcome everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully having a fantastic Friday.
Yes, and we have returned after I got over my little man flu or whatever was going on last week.
No, don't tell them. We're always here. I don't know what you're talking about. We did an episode. We've never missed an episode every week. Just 0 deaths as well in video games.
Yep.
And yeah, we've always been here. Don't worry about it.
I probably nailed it last week too, I reckon.
It was a really good episode. Probably the best one yet. Yeah, probably the best one.
That episode that happened in your head without me, that was the best one. Awesome. Nice. Good start.
Yeah.
But I nailed the intro this week, guys, so that's one positive. 10 episodes in, I'm finally getting it.
I still can't see what's happening, so we're still getting to a point where you're like, and I'm a Streamaholic, and I'm like, and me, the Warship, I'm also one of these. And then out of nowhere, I'm just like, okay, so now the camera's off for a second, right? And then we go from there. So
we'll figure it out sometime. Sometime I'll get my tech game in check, and we'll start doing some better things behind the scenes, so we can both have a look at it.
Yep.
So you say that you know actually knows what's going on. Luke was a bit quieter than usual last week. Yeah, sounds about right. All right, so there's been some things happening. It's been 2 weeks off, so we've got a bit to cover tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good fun time. Oh, my light's not on. God dang it.
Turn your lights on, Jimmy.
That's it. Oh, what about your lights? Where are you don't even have any lights behind you anymore.
My lights are actually on the ground in a line, lighting up the wall now. I just gave up. I've got chunks out of my wall, and geez, it's just.
But if you sit a certain way and no one will know. Your head covers the holes, so yeah, you're all good. You're all good. I think you've painted that wall since last time.
I did. I've touched it. I did another coat though. You can still see a little chunk, or maybe the lights are just going to cover it up again one day. But who knows? Maybe I'll get around to it. Every time I walk in, I think it's the cold weather. I don't know. If you're using nano leaves, guys, make sure you don't use the electrical tape that came with it, because obviously no good in the cold.
I seem a lot smaller on the screen today. I don't know what I've done. I seem that's even worse, right?
I could be zoomed in more than usual. I don't know.
Interesting. That's all right. I think we're good. I look like what I see on my screen versus what you guys. Yeah, it's very different. I have no rant yet there. We haven't got into the rants or anything yet, but I'm sure they'll come at some point here.
They definitely will. Probably hard and fast, I reckon.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I like the way we're framed right here, because it's kind of like the complete opposite of in real life. Like this,
you look huge.
Yeah, usually I'm the small one, and you're the big fella. So I like this
little boy over here.
All right. So what do we got to talk about? We should get into some of the news this week and kick it off with that before we get stuck into the meat of the show, I reckon. So I'll just go through a few little things here with the news. What do you reckon?
All right, let's do that. Let's get into the news. Let's get into the news.
All right, so the first one I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, and by now you've probably all seen it because it's been 2 weeks, so it was something we're going to bring up last week. But we often talk about the ad platform here on Twitch, and there's a couple of new features that have come in. I think they're in testing, but they're at least coming into play at the moment. It's the new stream ads, or stream display ads is the word they're using for it. So you've had a look at them today, Shippy. What do you reckon about the new sort of format of ads that they're sort of trialing out?
All right, so one of the worst things about Twitch, and love the platform, all that kind of stuff, all that wank. But one of the worst things about Twitch is that, say you're not subscribed, because money's tight, and if you had to subscribe to everybody who you like to watch on the platform, you'd have no money left. So sometimes you just can't, and that's an unfortunate sort of the position that we all find ourselves in. So you go into someone's stream, you're like, yo, let's go, let's watch the stream, and you get, and I'm a big what's the word I'm looking for? I kept trying to stall, it didn't work. I do this a lot. I'm guilty of this. What I do is I'll go to a chat, I'll open up a new window, I'll be like, oh yeah, cool, let's go check out, blah, 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 blah. And I click on the thing, and then as soon as the Windows screen of the chat loads, I'm like, hey man, it's me, Shippy, and then an ad plays.
Yeah.
And then I can't hear them say, oh, it's Shippy, what's going on, man? How you doing? I hear none of that at all because there's a minute of ad. And then I come through at the end of it and, it be what it be. But you've missed out on the introduction. They've probably talked to you for about 30 seconds and you have no idea what's going on. So if I ever do that, I'm just like, yeah, man, not bad. How are you? Because I don't know what's being said because I'm stupid and I've pushed the wrong buttons. But this new thing, this stream display ad thing, it actually takes the whole thing and raises it up. Kind of like if anyone's been on my channel when we were advertising for Biomutant, when I was playing that on stream, we actually had a thing that would pop up on the bottom of the screen as we were doing the thing, and that allowed for the thing to be advertised. And I was trying to find it at that point, couldn't find it. But it allowed for the game to be advertised without taking over too much of the stream, and that's what this does now. So essentially, there are two versions, or three versions of it. One version pushes the text up to like the below you, so it kind of shows up like a YouTube ad. Another one goes to the side, and then the third one goes to both the middle and the side, and makes your screen about that big as opposed to this big. It doesn't do anything for your quality or anything like that. It just displays the ads mid-reel. Beneficial, I think, to streamers because it takes away the situation that I just mentioned, and it allows your viewer to immediately connect with you. The only reason that it wouldn't be beneficial, I suppose, is that it will definitely interfere with VODs. So if you want to take your VODs and do, top 10 epic Among Us plays,
that's true.
and things like that, you'll be playing and then all of a sudden that'll pop up. So, that'll fuck that up for sure. But yeah, outside of that, I think it's pretty good. What about you? What's your thoughts?
Well, I really, really like it. That's one of my main sort of problems that I have with the Twitches and the ads, and I know they're trying to turn it into like their aim we talked about as a $1 billion ad platform. Which I don't know if that's turned around in the last 12 months, but 12 months ago they were well behind at that point. So, but I like the idea that they're bringing in all these other extra ways to bring in ads without doubling down on sort of the type of ads that we've had before that take over the stream, like you say. So, I haven't heard whether this new banner ad system is going to replace like the ads when you come into a stream. Hopefully it does, because I don't know about when you're entering a stream. It's just a pain in the ass because a lot of the times you probably still hang around if you're going to be on the platform. If you're trying to have it say a quick hello, then you might back out sometimes. So I don't know what happens there.
You don't want to double dip, and that's the problem. Is that I feel like that would feel like double dipping the chip. You know what I mean? Like if you went through and you were like, okay, so yes, there's an ad when you first come in, and then randomly at intervals there are more ads. Unless that means more money for the creator on the ad level, I don't think it's a great idea. But hey, if we get more money for it, let's go. I'll run all the ads like in the world.
Because the way that the ad platform is there, and the way they're having troubles like gaining money from brands for the type of ads that you can provide on Twitch compared to other platforms, I think the adding of these small little ads that pop up and disappear, they don't make a sound, they don't affect the sound or the visual of your stream. It just gets a little bit smaller just for that 10 seconds. I think it's a really, really good way to go. And so there's talk that they're going to be automatic. So Twitch is going to implement these during your stream. I think up to 8 times a stream. They're just going to appear and disappear, and you won't even know, I guess, unless you've got your stream up.
Sorry, Max is talking. I gotta get rid of it. It just started to play. Stop it. Don't mind me.
Oh, that was one of your memes popping up, was it?
It was automatically pushed. I apologize. Yeah, keep going.
No, all good. No, so I don't know. The more times these pop up, as long as it's not intrusive, it'll. I think people will be, and especially if it's happening automatically across the entire platform. It's not like somebody can get annoyed at a certain streamer for playing too many ads or anything. It's kind of taken out of your hands. Hopefully there's a way to opt out of it in the case that you don't want those ads at all and you're not worried about not getting the revenue from it. But I think it's a much better way to retain a viewer. Like you'll always hear about if you play a mid-stream ad through the streamer dashboard, that supposedly the stats are that 3 out of every 10 people that are watching will disappear. So I think that would be much higher with these ads. They're kind of a little bit less intrusive, so well,
absolutely. That's the big thing for me. That's what I was trying to think of before, is that if I'm not getting an automatic ad when I go into a stream or whatever it might be, I am much more inclined to stick around. One of the things that I hate when it comes to YouTube videos as well, I'm sure you know that too, is that when you get that, you're like, well, I don't want to stick around for this ad. It's an unskippable ad. I really didn't want to watch the content that much anyway, so I'll go to the next thing. Like at the moment, that's just kind of how we're wired. Especially with like the whole TikTok thing becoming more relevant and Instagram Reels and no more Twitter Reels apparently, but everything else is kind of it's definitely geared towards quick boom content, and the last thing you want is to be stuck with a minute 20 ad before a stream, especially because you know what the worst thing is that you see all your mates going through the scrolling. They're all having chats and everything. Especially if it's like a pretty banging stream, you've got a whole bunch of people talking all at once. You're like, what are they talking about? What the fuck is going on? I don't understand what's going on at all. I honestly think it will be really, really useful. I think that it will work well, and it's just a matter of time to see if it goes everywhere else. Yeah,
if this works and people are like it. So I don't know whether like 8 little small ads might give you the same revenue as 1 or 2 of the bigger ads at the start of a stream or mid-roll ads. I don't know, but you'd probably rather use those than the bigger ads, because it's like when you go to YouTube and you'll see an ad pop up in the middle of a video or whatever. I think they're usually like 15 seconds max, or you can skip them. Like they're pretty, but with Twitch, it's like a minimum of 30-second ad at the start of a stream. That's what I don't like about watching Twitch. When you come into a stream, it's a 30-second ad. It's not even it's not even a little quick, nice little 15-second one or a skippable one. So
that's the great thing about YouTube ads, is you're like, yep, okay, I can wait.
Seconds,
already clicking, skip. All right, good, gone. And then you're done.
I don't know if I've ever not skipped an ad if I'm sort of at the PC or at like where I'm watching the thing. If it's on in the background, I know there's been times where I've been at work and I've got YouTube on in the background. I've got some earplugs in, listening to a TV that's on over on the wall, and an ad will play, but I'm nowhere near where I can skip the ad. I'm like listening to 3 minutes of this like tutorial thing about I don't know how to make money on Instagram or something. It's popped up on and you just can't get rid of it. It's like a whole new video itself in the middle of your video you watch.
Yeah, they've been doing it a lot lately. I've noticed that on YouTube, and the place that I watch 90% of my YouTube is actually PlayStation, because I don't use my PlayStation necessarily for games. Of course I play games on it, but I use it more for my television. So because we don't have a smart TV in the lounge room, we've got one in the bedroom but not in the lounge room. So for the lounge room, it's all plugged in through the PlayStation. So we go to YouTube there, we go to Netflix there, we go to Anime Lab there. Kind of everything that we like to access is all done through the PlayStation. So that one is one of those ones where with YouTube videos and with the timer, I'm just flicked up with the thing, waiting for it to go. As soon as I can push it, And in those situations where this ad's unskippable, and it might even only be the difference between 7 seconds and 12, I'm just sitting here with this and I'm just like,
that's the worst.
It's only a couple of seconds difference, but you're so done.
Worst 5 seconds ever.
Legitimately, there's not even like a joke about it. It's like, holy shit, it just go away. Like, there's one ad that runs here at the moment, and this is only for Perth people. Literally no one else will get the thing about it, and I think it's only for north of the river people as well. There's this gym called Fitness HQ, and it's got like this like bum 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 bum, and it's just like this music that plays at the start of it, and it is unskippable, and the whole thing plays almost every single video at the moment, and it goes for like 15 seconds, and every single time I'm like, yep, where's the switch? I am sitting here and I am building in Minecraft for about 12 seconds because I can't do it. I can't do it no more.
And consequently, if you're a brand out there, make some sort of a ad that you know if it's going to get played 100 times to individual viewers, make sure it's not something that's going to like really agitate your ears after the third play, because you'll never go to that
honestly
gym.
No, honestly, I never. No, I will spit out the window at that gym now. Like, like there is no desire. Yeah, no desire at all. And honestly, like, you got 5 seconds to get an impression on me in that time when it comes to an ad on YouTube or an ad on Twitch. If you go beyond that 5 seconds, and I'm not interested. Like, if you can sell me there, good. Like, you know, like if you sell me there, awesome. But if not, like, I don't want to see it every time I go to a stream or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, when it comes to gyms, and just a quick point there, because I am scrolling a little bit because I've got the chat up today, which is something we haven't done before. Honestly, there, when it comes to gyms and lockdowns, a bit of a secret. This is an insider secret because I used to be a gym manager and fully qualified personal trainer, all that kind of stuff. Not that you'd know it right now, but you know what 90% of a gym's income is? Have a guess, Lukey. What's 90% of the gym income?
90% of a gym income. It is the people that subscribe to get in.
It's the people who pay for a gym membership
and don't go
to the gym. Like, honestly, it's the people who are too afraid to go and cancel their membership. Even through lockdown, through everything else, a lot of people did lose business when it came time for lockdown to really hit, because people were like, oh no, COVID, blah, 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 I've got to cancel all my things. Yeah. But typically speaking, a gym will keep its so much extra of an income base without having a single person come through, all based on a refusal for you to walk in the gym and say, hey, I don't need the gym anymore. Because you know the guy on the other side is going to be like, oh, bro, you don't need the gym anymore? Why not? What's the matter with the gym? And you don't want to have that conversation with anyone.
Yeah, I can understand, though, because you're like you're the gym guy, and it's me walking in there with these little things going, I don't need to come here anymore. I'm all right, mate. I think I'm set.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely happened to me a couple of times over my lifetime where I've had a gym membership for way too long and didn't go back. I think in my mind I was like, you know, I'm going to get back into it. Like, you never do. Yeah. No, yeah, that's the thing. Is like, and that's like where they make their income. So when it comes to gyms, I have sympathy for the ones that are my friends, local gyms and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to a big business gym, like, man, they've got so much extra money in the bank there, just from people who just refuse to go in and leave. Yeah. Like, because there's usually some kind of big process too, where it's like, you can't do it over the phone. You have to come in and sign forms. And it's just so they can tell you, you know, are you really sure? Are you really ready to stop coming to the gym? You know? That was a bit of a tangent. I apologize. No, that's right. I got to bring it back a little bit. You just mentioning that's an ad that plays for you a lot on Twitch, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other week I was talking about how I was a bit worried about the Twitch ad platform when almost all the ads that I'm seeing on Twitch these days is all Amazon or Twitch itself. And I'm like, so no one's paying Twitch for me to watch these ads. They're advertising their own stuff. So I was thinking, if you're getting stuff from people in Perth, I'm out in the country, so I was thinking maybe I'm getting nothing because I'm up here and, you know, there's nobody in my town that are advertising on Twitch.
There's no advertisers, so that means you're not getting localized ads, you're getting like overall ads.
Yeah, I'm getting like Amazon Prime TV shows, and so maybe that's why I'm getting that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense. Like, you know, you're not going to get like a advertisement for Sporting Globe or whatever here because you're not around close enough. But that being said, you should still get overarching things too, you know, like Adobe, you know, any kind of like the big business stuff, like Norton ads and things like that. I'm getting a lot of Photoshop ads at the moment, like a lot of Photoshop ads. Yeah. There's this one like single shot camera ad that goes past a bunch of graffiti. I'm getting that almost every time I turn on any kind of social media.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It's like, yeah, it's not too bad.
Sounds better than the could be worse. Something pretty to look at.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, no, I think that it's only good. I think that it's only good for the platform. I think it allows for people to get in and do the thing quicker. Because like I said, there's nothing worse than that moment of dead air. And if you're... Because, like, honestly, when it comes to streamers, depending on the size of the stream as well, sometimes you'll see a friend come in and you'll be like, oh, Flavor Fade, how are you doing, friend? And you do that because you're literally waiting for the response.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the response, then you look like a dickhead as well, like as the streamer. And it's because they're like, oh, sorry, I'm back now. I couldn't get in before because the ad was playing.
Yeah.
But now that doesn't happen, in this situation.
I'm glad when
so if
people
that
do
actually
mention
ends up
that.
being a thing.
I'm glad that when the chat actually mentions I was waiting for an ad, because then there's like, oh, okay, now we can get back at the end. I understand.
Yeah.
I hate when you go to for a raid and you forget to play the stream that you're about to raid over here, so the ad plays first before you do the raid. And then, so if you forget to do that, you do the raid and you enter in, you're like, oh shit, an ad, and so you miss the reaction from people. Yeah.
It's a mad dash for me because the way that my setup is that I've got my OBS is usually right in the middle here. The game or whatever I'm doing elsewise is over on this screen, and then the chat and everything is here. Now under my chat, so I usually take up the whole the whole vertical screen with chat, except for this much at the bottom, and that's got my stream like numbers and all that kind of stuff waiting there, so I can see it all. So it all builds out into one nice shape. It is a mad dash from the time I click raid to minimize the chat to bring my one across and up to this screen so that I can bring the chat out like this here, unmute the thing, and then hope I haven't missed the reaction. Every single time I raid, I run into the same problem without fail, because I want to hear that first reaction, especially when it's like a stream that I haven't maybe gone into before, or a stream that it's been a while since I've been in, and we're like, the Warship raids with 100 people, and then they're like,
yeah, that's good.
You want that because that's cool. It's a nice moment.
Yeah,
definitely. And it's nice.
Sucks when you miss it.
yeah, you don't want to be missing that at all. So, yeah.
Oh. All right, so good ads, big plus Twitch. Thanks, you're doing good.
I'll have
things.
More of that, please.
Yep. So the next thing I've got here in the news is just it's another Twitch thing. We're not going around the grounds kind of with this part of the news as I normally do yet.
No, I noticed you didn't transition away like a dickhead for about a second or two there. Well, I was like, all right, camera's not on me. I'll just and then I noticed the page. I'm like, oh no.
No, I thought I won't go to the zoomed up thing because I'm usually, even though it's sort of my segment, I usually look for your input off it anyway. So I thought I'll just stick to this for a bit. So the next bit I've got is that Twitch has come out with more clarifications now on their bans. So previously, if you got a ban or a infraction for your T's and C's, you would just get apparently, I've never had one, but you just get, not that I stream as a side note, but you just get like a notification in your email saying you have done this thing wrong and you were banned for whatever time, whatever. But so it never told you where you actually did the thing. So now they've decided, and I was actually surprised that they didn't already do more than what they were doing. Like now they're actually going to give you the actual stream title and the date and some more information about where that infraction actually occurred, so you can have a look at it. And I guess it makes your appealing process a bit easier if you know exactly when you did the thing wrong that you did. Yeah,
absolutely. You'd be like, no, that's not a thing I did.
Yeah,
absolutely not. And then at least you get a little bit more of a control over it, because when it comes to streaming in general, one of the worst things that happens is that even not just streaming, but like the world, when it comes to trying to get in touch with sponsors, whatever it might be, a lot of the time it's just like, oh, at this time you're not appropriate, and you're like, yeah, but why?
Yeah, give us some more info, please.
Give me information, give me context, tell me what's wrong. And it's the same thing with this too. It's like, okay, you stuffed up, and you're like, okay, explain.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't do it again. Like, I sent an email back to Nord the other day, and they were like, oh, at the moment you're not appropriate. I'm like, all right, so explain why. And they did, and I'm like, okay, so here's all the reasons why what you've said is not true. And then just sent me back another generic message. So I'll wait to hear back there again. But the reality is that it's like you don't really, unless you go back and appeal, you can't really talk about it more. And the worst part with Twitch is there's almost no way. It's like Twitter. It's like this cloud of anonymity around it, and you can't respond to things that will actually get seen by people until you're at a high level partnered area where you have actually got yourself a Twitch representative to go back and forth with. But outside of that, you don't have anyone. So even then, even at partnered level, you don't have an open communication.
Yeah.
So how are we supposed to know if something we've done wrong? Yeah. How are we supposed to know what it is to fix it?
That's a problem. Even way back in my Facebook days, that was still a problem. Even on Facebook, even in a small platform, is that you get DMCAs and violations and stuff sent through, and even though they might tell you where it was, you might just want to appeal. Like, that's not what you're telling me didn't happen. Like, it's not even a thing what you're saying, and you try to appeal it, and you just get the robot response back. And it seems like the robot response is telling you that someone has reviewed your appeal and said, no, it still stands, and you're just like, but what you're saying actually didn't happen. Like, it doesn't exist, so I need to speak to someone, but you can't.
No, you can't. Yeah, it's like, I don't believe this. I'd like to contest it, and there's no conversation. You know, it's just like, nope. It's just no.
Yeah.
So yeah, being able, at least being told what it is, might be a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's going to take time to see how that appeals process actually works, and you know, like, guys, I've not had any of these. Like, you know, I'm a good boy. So
He's a good boy.
Well, I'm not, but I know how to hide being a bad boy when it comes to Twitch. So, but like I haven't got one of those things in my inbox at all, so I can't respond on how it would be to like actually deal with it. But at least, you know, you probably have a bit more of a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
You could at least kind of say, okay, well, that's fair enough. I did that. I deserve this. And then you move on. Yeah, exactly right. So, yeah, no, I think that's all good too. There's nothing wrong with that for me. I think that's a good amount of transparency, and it probably leads into like sort of the next points as well when it comes to this whole Twitter thing, the main point of the day. Yeah,
I've got one more thing here, which is going to be a little bit more
so
around
we'll go
the
to that
groundy,
too.
But then we will go into we are going to talk about the hashtag Twitch2Better thing that's been sort of blowing up around the Twitch scene on Twitter the last week. So we'll get to that in a minute. This is the last sort of thing. I just wanted to go back through the Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet stats we had for the Q2 sort of stats for all of the three major streaming platforms. I kind of just went briefly over it and said overall they're all up again still, even like 12 months later after the sort of first wave of COVID hit. But YouTube was slightly down. So I've got a little bit more of stats here and a couple of points here about Facebook and YouTube too, which I found really, really interesting. And for those of you out there that are sort of wondering where you're going to put your content too, it would just be a little bit interesting. I found it. I like diving into these sort of stats and trying to work out how they're all actually really going. But so the total increased for all of the platforms altogether, the three major platforms, was up 2.5% from Q1. So from we're looking at April to June was 2.5% better in terms of hours watched from the first 3 months of the year. It got up to 8.99 billion hours watched for the quarter. YouTube was actually down a little bit, but Twitch itself was increased for the last 3 quarters in a row. So it's still it's still breaking its own records. It's up to 6.51 billion hours watched. So out of the 8.99, Twitch is 6.51 billion. So, you know, over 2/3 of the hours watched still is on Twitch. So Twitch is going really good. So Q2 saw the hours streamed and unique channels drop by 8.5%. So in that quarter, actual people that are streaming has actually dropped off a little bit. But the viewership overall still up, so that's a really good sign. But it's still way up from this time last year too. So even though we've gone through the whole 12 months of COVID and people staying inside, like they're all still and things are going back to normal, but the viewership was still increasing. But I will mention this in a second though. You brought something to my attention about what's happening recently, post June. So I'm only talking up to June, so where it was at then. But what I really wanted to talk about was the two main points to do with Facebook and YouTube that I found really, really interesting when you look through the stats a little bit further into it. Facebook Gaming's total hours watched and average CCV, concurrent viewership, actually increased for that quarter, as it has been over the last few quarters. Facebook hit 1 billion hours watched for the first time in its history, Facebook Gaming. And this was the big thing that I found really surprising that I wanted to bring up about that. The unique channels reduced from 1.5 million to 840k. So almost half of the unique channels have actually disappeared over that quarter. And I've read this in two different places because it just seems like an unbelievable stat. So I don't know what that is. I don't know why people they tried out the platform and didn't like it. Some people were streaming because of COVID and trying new platforms and disappeared. But the overall viewership on Facebook still increased. But the amount of channels that streamed in that quarter was almost in half.
Yeah, okay.
So I found
Interesting.
that was really, really interesting. So the viewership's there. That's what I found interesting. If you're looking at platforms to trial, even to just try out, there's a viewership there, and less streamers now taking that viewership. So there might be some opportunities there to get in.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I was saying to you in chat, is looking at the past year, we've actually seen a little bit of a decline since, I would say, since June.
Yeah.
We went from an average of 2.7 million active people, having a decent amount of concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
All the way down to 2.5. So we've actually seen like a pretty steep drop when it comes to general viewership.
Yeah.
And it's only happened sort of since June, so pretty much since your stats.
Yes, it's the stats.
It's actually gone down, and it's at the point now where it's currently at the worst it's been since May of last year. So yeah, it's gone up and down, and there was a couple of really big spikes there, but it's actually headed back down now. So I think that maybe the world feels like might be going back to normal.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. If it's from May last year, that's like kind of right at the first few months of the whole people going into lockdowns and stuff. So that might be the return. What I was going to say was that also like, are we just coming off the back of some sort of summer holidays in America as well?
Yeah, that could be it as well,
So
because there's been
that.
a fair bit of time there. It's like, May, April, March was down as well, but not as much. So it's been pretty much since May. Well, April, May, and June were all three pretty good months.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went heaps down in July, like a massive drop in July.
So we might be starting to see the true effects of what's going to be the normal after all of the sort of COVID and lockdowns and people being trapped at home.
Bloody hope not. I hope that's not the normal. I hope that we're getting. I hope this is just a dip in the road, and we'll see some good increase again.
If over the next few months, even if it's down and what its peak has been, but it's still much higher than last year, then that hopefully means that they've interested a lot more people that didn't know about Twitch, and 50% of those people have hung around once they've gone back to their work and employment and school and everything's opening up.
Yeah.
So then still technically a growth, even though there was a bit of an anomaly in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like, for me in particular is that I came up in streaming right in the middle of a time where we didn't really know what was going to happen from here, and we weren't sure it was going to be a big grind to the next level or not. And now, if it's going to be settling down, it's going to be a lot harder to get from where I was to the next bit. And I think that's just in general overall something that a lot of creators in my rough position will feel. But I think that your creators who stream to a few people every day, or whatever it is they may do, they won't be affected, and either will the people who stream to hundreds upon hundreds of viewers every day. I think that it'll be the meat in the middle that really find this to be an effect. I don't think that the people on either side of that will really cop it too much. So, because the hundreds and hundreds of people, they're always going to be watching anyway, and your 1 or 2 to 5 viewers, they'll always be watching too, because they're your friends, or they're really dedicated to your content. So you probably won't see too much of a drop off, I wouldn't think. Yeah.
The percentage wise for the people that are in that medium bracket, I can see how that would be affected with this sort of, with people not being around their TV screens as much moving forward.
Exactly right. Those ones who do it because they want to help out the person and they want to support the person, or they want to be there because they feel like they're passionate about it. All those people, they're the ones that as their lives get back together and back on track and they're going out more, it's like, I could do that and I'd love to do that, but I'd also love to go and experience the world again.
The real world.
Yeah, exactly right. So I understand that as well. It's just going to be a bit of an adjustment period for some of those people. And I think overall though, I think we're heading in a pretty good direction with content creation. You always see it. You always see the YouTubers doing really well. You always see people on Twitch doing well. You always see people on Facebook. It's in an overall upswing, I think, even if down at the moment is sort of fairly normal.
I think there's going to be peaks and troughs to it, but you keep your head in the game, you keep pushing. Like there's still not going to affect the moment when you've kind of made it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly right.
You just got to keep that in mind, is that there's still that moment at the end there where you have made it and got to the place that you want to be. No matter how you get there, there's going to be some ups and downs, I guess, with the platform, because you can only rely on what you and everybody else can only rely on what how the platform's going. So as long as the platform's trending up, then you know, there's something to work with there.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And we can't, like, one thing that I talk about a fair bit within sort of my team is that you can't rely on just being a good just because you want it to be, and that you always need to be changing and evolving and growing with content. And, you know, like, we're probably focused on games more than I would have liked to the past couple of months, just because we've been doing this whole partner push thing. So I've been sort of focusing on, like, finding engaging games and all that kind of stuff, rather than there are other things I would really want to do, and we just haven't had time to do them for whatever reason, because the baby's been here, and it's just been, for whatever reason, we haven't been able to step into that next level yet. But I'm definitely focused myself on, like, the next level things. And I think that if you are a content creator who is coming into the game at the point like I am now, like a relatively new, you need to be looking beyond just playing, you know, GTA or whatever the case may be. Like, if you want to grow, you need to do a lot more than just do the one thing. I think that there's no two ways around that at the moment.
And I think that plays into a lot of the stuff we've been talking about diversifying your content on other platforms. It might not be live content elsewhere, just, you know, doing podcasts, on making sure it's available on the Apple things, or just doing your YouTube, some sort of a YouTube content. Trying to use TikTok to gain some popularity on TikTok, if that's your thing, like, whatever it is. If you're good at Instagram, and, you know, making sure that you've got stuff out there on other platforms, so that if a platform itself that does have, like, something like this where the world goes back to normal, you know, it's hard to foresee what sort of world sort of effects it's going to have on Twitch in the future or next week. But if you have your finger in a lot of different pies that you're using a lot of your time, you know, a slight dip in one of those, it's like revenue sources. They always say diversify your revenue sources. And when you're looking at it from a business, if you have a slight dip in one of those, you have the other ones there to help you to push through it. So but you're still for you personally, you're still, like you said, you're still in the early days. You've got your ideas in these other platforms and areas that you want to push into, so you're still getting there.
It's just making them work from here and actually putting the work into them. The way that it was put to me really, really recently, actually, a conversation I had with someone last week, and they said you have to think about it like a lottery tickets. So it's like it only takes one video to go viral, or one stream, or whatever it might be, one moment in history for people to stop and look, and then that's it. But in order to get there, you can't win the lottery without buying a ticket. You know, so you can't get to where you want to be as a content creator, if that's your goal, without putting content out there. And the more content you put out there, the more chances of it working out. That doesn't mean make shit content. That just means make content. You still got to make quality content on all the platforms that you do it on. But I've used that analogy before too. So it's like the more content or quality, the more quality content that you're producing out there, you know, that's like buying extra games in the Powerball. Instead of just buying one game, you're buying 30 games, you know. You've got a better chance of winning that lottery so you do need luck, but you need to be putting yourself in the right places so that when that luck hits, you've got more chance of that luck hitting. You need to be ready to go. Absolutely.
I stuffed up that analogy a little bit, but, you know, we all get what I'm talking about.
No, it's all right. I understood it. I don't remember the last time I bought a ticket to lottery, though.
I didn't buy this week. Some single person won $80 million on the Powerball on Thursday night.
Jeepers.
So hopefully they're like a Twitch viewer that's getting around.
That's life changing.
That money, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
that's absolutely life changing.
Yeah, it is. I can't even know how I'd spend $80 million, but, you know, I'm sure I'd find a way.
I suppose if you really want, I'll find a way.
So the last point I've got just to delve into the stats there, which I found quite amazing actually, and I kind of don't know what to think about the stats when I found this out looking through it, is that when you look at Twitch and you look at Facebook with those hours streamed and hours viewed, it's all including categories like just chatting, like the hot tub or beaches and hot tubs, IRL streams and all that sort of thing are included in those stats. But for some reason, I don't know if they just can't do it, but when you're looking at YouTube gaming, it's literally just live gaming streams, nothing to do with any other content. So I think that to say that YouTube's viewership is down in live content is a little bit of and it's a little bit of a lie when you're comparing it to other platforms where you're including stuff like IRL streams and just chatting and stuff like that. So I thought if YouTube's stats, if you were to include that, must be much higher than that. I don't know. I don't know if they're just chatting style streams or IRL streams alike on YouTube. But for whatever reason, they can't include that in the stats or have chosen not to.
Yeah, I've not seen it at all. So for me, it's interesting because like I don't know. I don't really think I've ever seen like a just chatting on YouTube.
No.
I don't think I've ever seen like a true variety stream on YouTube either. Of course, there's a whole bunch of, top of the morning to your ladies today we're playing Among Us, or, like people who focus on multiple games, but then end up, playing, that one time. But I can't think of a time where a stream on YouTube will go from being, just chatting for a while to having a few beers, then to play a game, and then some more chatting, and then some marbles on stream, or I don't think that happens so much on YouTube.
No.
I think that's kind of almost a Twitch thing. I know that Facebook does it as well, but it kind of feels a bit more like a Twitch thing than anything else.
Yeah, so with Facebook, I know there's a category there that's called, it's not called just chatting, but it's something similar to that, and that you can choose as your directory. But I don't know if because on Facebook you can set your page up, and you have to I think your page has to be a gaming video creator page, and that's when you'll get included in the Facebook gaming side of things, no matter what sort of directory you play around, whether you're doing the just chatting one or not. So obviously on Facebook you can have like a page that's to do with something completely different. It could be like a dance studio, and so you might do some live streams on some videos that's all dance content. That's not going to be included in the Streamlabs reports. Obviously it's just the gaming video creator, so it's people that would normally play games that sometimes do just chatting. Whereas on Twitch there is dance studio or cooking streams that just do that. They're not gaming streams at all, but they're included in the stats. Whereas on YouTube, if you're a cooking stream or a dance stream or dance channel, and you produce content in those areas and just happen to do live Q&A sessions or whatever over there, that's not including in their stats. Whereas if that same channel existed on Twitch, it is included in the stats.
Yeah, weird. Weird.
So I don't know if it's like there is a lot of live content on YouTube that you just, if they did include it in these stats, it would give you a totally different picture that just wouldn't give you any idea on the gaming scene, because these Streamlabs obviously and Stream Hatchet are trying to give us gaming streams, gaming industry stats. So if YouTube was able to include all of their live content from all of the numerous other style channels that are out there to just dwarf Twitch, so then it's not a true picture of the gaming industry. But then it's interesting that Twitch, because it started out as gaming but now has all these other different directories that it is included, and I think YouTube's stats are obviously going to be much higher than what you're looking at if you're just talking about content creation in general. And now I don't know what to think about the stats when it comes to how YouTube compares against the other platforms. So it threw me on a bit of a loop, but I kind of don't. Last 2 weeks ago when we talked about YouTube's stats are down, I'm like, now I'm thinking or finding out that that's just gaming only.
Yeah.
But the other platforms are including cooking streams and walking down the street in Tokyo and
like all that kind of general overall stuff. It's really weird though, like looking at Facebook and trying to get a handle on that is also difficult. Like, setting your page up specifically as a gaming creator, a video creator, like knowing what to do seems a little bit difficult. But that being said, like I said to you like week before last, is that I'm sure if you're in the space, you understand it. for someone who is looking at the space from the outside as a potential way to do things in the future, maybe it's like, how do I even go live at a place like this? You know, like where do I go? Like it just, yeah, it's a little bit different to what I'm used to, because I'm used to using Facebook in a certain way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And YouTube's the same.
There's definitely, I know YouTube and Facebook, they're both, and Twitch is good at this too though. They do have their places and sites and blogs out there which have very detailed instructions on what to do and how to create content on those platforms. So if you are looking, there is a creators section that's public viewing on Facebook and YouTube, where you can find out all these things. YouTube's obviously the one I've looked at on YouTube is just a generalized YouTube creators sort of area, where it's got all like tips and tricks on how to create content on YouTube. Facebook's the one I've seen with Facebook is more of a gaming one, but people create content in other, that's not just gaming on Facebook too, so it depends on what you're gonna do. But
it just seems really interesting to me, because like I said, like there's it's the reason that I always found Twitch to be good is because Twitch is like made for live streaming. You know, like it is like all it is a live streaming service. And there's nothing else to it. That's what it is. So when it comes to using it and understanding it, it's not too bad. Like, it's fairly easy to kind of understand what you need to do. And looking at these other places, it's not like I don't like them or don't appreciate them. I just don't get it. You know, like, because it's like YouTube, I go to YouTube for VOD. That's what I primarily go to YouTube for, to watch videos. I primarily go to Facebook to look at pictures of babies, and that's pretty much it at this point. Or to share pictures of babies, and you know, like, that's kind of what I'm saying is that it's different for me, because it's not what I've gone there for. But that being said, you know, you just said ticked over 1 billion views, like.
Yeah, there's like, people there that do watch that.
Exactly right, absolutely.
And they are completely different things. When I think about where I'm going to put my content when I reboot up again, like, I think about YouTube and I think about Facebook as two different options. And in my head, I don't think I would create content there unless I think I'm going to do like other content on those pages at the same time, to try and make sure that algorithm's being sort of, what do you call it? We're feeding the algorithm every single day with different content, even if I'm not streaming, and therefore when I do go live, you're building audience with this other content as well, which will they're live today, and you know they'll get the notification, and hopefully then they watch that content. Whereas if you're just streaming 5-6 times a week, and that's what you do, you're a live streamer at this point. Twitch is definitely set up for that. If you are on every single day, the other platforms are going to be, I think, similar, because you can feed the algorithm by being there every single day. But in my mind, being a two day a week streamer, in my head, I feel like it's easier to be discovered if I need to make sure I create other content though, and put it on. You need to be able to do other stuff. Yeah, because if I did it on Twitch 2 days a week, that might be good. But then I've got to. To me, it's like I've got to make sure I'm producing Twitter content and being prevalent there. I've got to make sure that I'm doing YouTube, and then the conversion rate of someone being a community building around my YouTube videos to get them to come and watch my live streams is probably going to be less if I build a community on YouTube to just watch when I'm live on YouTube. No, exactly right. So I don't know. I think all the platforms have got pluses and cons going for them. So I think it's an individual choice as to what sort of content you're going to provide, and make sure you look around the place.
I think there's a question that you have to ask yourself is that what kind of creator are you going to be? Are you going to be the kind of creator that creates everything? Or are you going to be the kind of creator that is on one platform? Because that's another thing as well that we haven't really spoke about, is that if you look at things like the Twitch terms of service, you're not allowed to. So once you hit partnered, you can't provide live content anywhere else.
Well, even at affiliate, you can't.
Even an affiliate, you can't provide the same live content.
Oh, yeah, right.
So like you can't restream as an affiliate.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. But as a partner, you're not allowed to create live content. I think that's how the rule works. And I know the same works with Facebook as well. Is that you have to provide a different sort of entertainment. You can technically stream on both. But you need to perform, like, say I went onto Facebook as an IRL streamer. Like, I could do that, but then I believe the way it works is that on the Twitch side, it's still a no other live content. So I'd have to do like a pre-recorded stream of a video on another platform if I was going to try to do multiple different like live streaming services. Whereas with YouTube and Facebook, as far as I'm aware, you can run both concurrently. Yeah. You can do live streams on YouTube, you can do live streams on Facebook, without there being a clash. The only issue is if you add Twitch into the mix, because Twitch says no, you're not allowed to do any other form of live streaming.
Yeah, that's right.
While you're here.
You can be a partner on Facebook and YouTube, and Facebook and YouTube will have no problem with you streaming on Twitch at the same time.
Yeah.
But you can't be monetized on Twitch because of Twitch's monetization T's and C's.
Doesn't allow you to, yeah.
So you can stream there without getting money from that or subs and bits from that platform. But if you're, like you say, but if you're on Twitch and you're an affiliate or partner on Twitch, Twitch doesn't even like you to restream at all to other platforms at the same time.
No. Yeah. No, exactly right. So you could theoretically, you could probably restream directly from Facebook to YouTube and have two different possible ways to get viewers. But you couldn't do that at all with adding Twitch to the mix. And then there's TikTok as well, because you can live stream TikTok as well. And the way that you do that is you have a second camera set up like this one here. And instead of having your content, actually, I think I can even show you. Instead of having your content set up like, you've got your game, you're playing your game on the main screen now, for example. And then I could say, okay, that's cool and all. But then on TikTok, I have this, and I'm like, oh yeah, guys, I'm just hanging out and talking with y'all. And you could do this one, actually. Sorry, if it's TikTok, it's be like that, right? I'm just doing this one here. But you don't never once show the game you're playing. You never once do anything at all like that. You're just like, yeah, this is my content on TikTok. I was just me. Hey, look, there's my feet. Check out my feet. They're pretty cool, huh? They're down there. They're pretty awesome.
That's only fair.
Yeah, exactly right. So as far as I know, you can do that on TikTok, but because it's not the same content, it doesn't quite work the same way. But at the same time, still, why risk it? If you're a partner and you're concerned about losing your revenue stream and all that kind of stuff, like all you're doing is potentially hurting yourself by doing that.
Yeah. No, definitely
you might blow up.
Definitely don't want to use your abuse your partnership agreements with whatever platform you're on. So
exactly right.
It takes such a long time, and it's such a hard slog to get there. Definitely make sure that you don't do anything wrong when you get there.
No, it takes a lot of work. Like pure testament right here to someone who says it takes a lot of work. And it will more than likely not end you up in some kind of like care at one point or another. Like, burnout's super real. Providing content constantly and not feeling like you're hitting that next sort of level that you feel like you need to hit to validate yourself is very, very real. So yeah, like, you don't want to get to that all the way through there and reach the mountaintop and then be like, well, now I've lost it again.
Yeah. Make sure you do the right things.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm done with the kind of the news part of it now, so now we can probably get into the hashtag Twitch do better and what all that means.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to get across what's been going on Twitter?
Yeah, so, well, honestly, like, to me, the point where it started to become part of my conversation was looking at having to create a known bots window on our Discord, like a known bots chat area, because of everything that's been going on over the past couple of weeks with the IP, right, but hacking bots, because you'll get followed by these people over and over again with pretty much similar names over and over again, and the minute you click on their profile, when they go live, you get done, they track your IP address.
Oh yes, this is the one you were talking about the other week.
Yeah. So that's become quite an issue from here. So since the last time we spoke, that's blown up completely. And that's sort of where it firstly became across my window, because that was like the first real conversation that I saw about it. But then it moved on to things like hate raids and general abuse in people's streams. And these hate raids, I don't know if you've ever been a part of one or if you've ever seen one.
I've never actually seen one like happen, but I've heard a lot about them.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Yeah,
like especially because of the LGBTQIA plus tab and the ally tab are quite big now, because the ally one's obviously new. It's a great time for people to jump in and be a bunch of bigots. And they're just scrolling through. Like, I had a guy come in the other day to the stream, and then he came into one of my other friends' streams, and he was essentially just like, hey, did you know that homosexuality goes against God? And like, that was the start of the conversation, and it just went from there and spiraled. And luckily, because my moderators don't take any shit, he was gone sort of before it went further. But then he went to another person's stream and just started to talk all this vile stuff as well. And it is kind of snowballed from there. Like, you know, I've seen it go all through the community at the moment. So what are your thoughts on it all?
No, well, I don't know. Yeah, I struggle to understand humans sometimes. Like, just the fact that these are even a thing and people try to attack people with these raids. Like, my first question is, like, if it's raids, right, are these real people that are hanging out in these other people's channels first? Like, so there's a bunch of people that find each other. I mean, you always find the people that you relate to most on the internet if you look hard enough, but if there's somebody that's got enough people, even if it's 5 to 10 people that are actually even watching them to come over, like, to me, when you do a hate raid, one, like, I feel for the creator that's actually facing that hate raid in the first place. Like, I couldn't imagine having that happen. It'd be, I don't know, you'd have to have some pretty thick skin for it to not affect you in some way, even if you are putting on for your channel. But how is it not easy for Twitch to, if that's reported, then to not just delete that other person who has already they've obviously built a small community to be able to do a raid like that. So presumably, if they were easily removed, like, you send them across the report, and you can show Twitch, I'm assuming you can visually show Twitch where it happened, that person can't then be removed from the platform and then have to go through the trouble of building that small little community of hate up again. I
mean, that's not trouble though. And the thing is that a lot of this stuff comes from Discord. So you'll have a group of people in a Discord, and they'll be like, right, let's all go here to this URL all at once, and boom, boom, boom. And then they get banned, and then they go, ha, we win. We got banned. That's what we want to do. Let's go make a new account. I'll go make a new Gmail account right now. It will take me less than 20 seconds. And then bang, 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 bang. Everyone laugh, have fun on Discord. Look at this guy. And then, you know, it continues. And that's that cycle of hate that they do. Like, that just goes and goes. What I don't understand is when it comes to follow bots, that you realize that costs money to do. You know, like it costs money to spam people with follow bots. I got hit with like a 3,000 one the other day. And it's like, but then it's gone. Like, it's great for the day. I'm like, yo, check me out. I got like 8,000 people on my Twitch, and then it's followers. Gone. But it's like they hit you with that thing, and they're like, yeah, this is funny, haha. But it doesn't make sense, because it's like, I'm pretty sure it costs you a couple $100 to do these things. You know, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, now we know what the people that win $80 million in Powerball are doing.
Yeah. Honestly, like,
just for the.
Like, it would take that, like, if you spread it out across how many times they must all do it, sort of per week, even they would be spending a good couple $100, I would think, even if it only costs them $10 a time to do it. You know, like they're not doing it once and then never doing it again. They're not like, hey, haha, one time fun. No, they're doing it again and again, because they just love to be like they just love to hurt people. So they see the reaction, they see the person in tears. Maybe they deplatform them. Maybe they made that person leave and never come back because they were treated poorly. And, you know, that works. I've been a victim of these things before, where people will come in and just like spread hate or spread like aggression in my community, and you do want to just quit. You do just want to stop streaming altogether. Like, I've experienced that as early as like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, you get to a point where you see things come through over and over again, and you just feel like you're failing. You know, you're doing badly, even if you're not. And it's like, man, if you hit someone who doesn't have the constitution to be okay with that, then they're gone. They're gone from the platform. They might even be gone in other ways where you need to check up on them, kind of gone. Because that's mental health stuff that can affect someone's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's real rough. It's real stupid. It's real callous. Like, there's no thought to it at all. It's just dickheads being like kids being like dickheads. Honestly.
Yeah, it's got to be mostly like the sort of people that I guess if they walk down the street and said something to you, they're the sort of people that I imagine you would look at and go, whatever, small fry. But when you're sitting in front of a computer,
it's a very boomer thing to say, but like, I'll bash the snot out of any one of them. Like, I'm confident that I could do that, because, you know, they are just dickheads on the internet, you know, throwing shade because they know they don't have to. If we had to do like the online bullying in person, do you know how little bullying would happen?
Yeah.
Like, if you had to provide a face and a name, or an address and a name online, if you were going to create an account and that would be displayed on a app like Twitch, like, you'd be done.
Yeah. You'd
be done, because it would stop it, because people would just go to your house and beat you up.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I don't know. It's never going to change. We're not here to arbitrate. Like, we can't change people's perception on how to act on the internet. Trolling is fun. It is bullying, sure, but people get a kick out of it. They're always going to do it. They've done it since the very early days of the internet. Nothing's going to change that. This is just a new form of it. Yeah. So this is just a new form of it, a new way to rise above it. Thankfully, the way the world currently is, we have a lot of speaking out movements, a lot of, the Me Too movements. You know, all of this speaking out was a big one in the wrestling community. But these movements where people are like, no, they're not fucking doing it no more. We're going to stop this. And the voices are heard, and they say the things that need to be said. And then those people, they're put on their ass. And they're put in a situation where, you know, they suffer and they pay for their crime. Yeah. So we're in a place now where we're having that happen on Twitter, and that's happening for Twitch. Yeah. So good. I'm glad there's a bit of accountability for it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the way the world's worked, and it was already heading that way, but I think the last sort of 2 years has kind of really showed that although it's really, really, really hard for the people that are facing the insults, and if you're from a minority group especially, that you sort of face that in real life, and now you're finding that on the Twitch in your community, not your community, but on your page, which is technically part of your public community. That there is more of a likelihood that people are going to stand up for you now that wouldn't have in the past. It's become more of a thing to be able to, because a lot of people might not have wanted to, through not anything callous, but, you know, the whole like, I'm not going to say anything about that or stand up for that person because then I'm going to get the hate as well. People are more inclined these days to actually to say, no, I don't agree with what you're saying to that person over there, and stand up for them in groups. So I think that's a good thing.
People aren't silent anymore about abuse. People aren't silent about any kind of bullying anymore, like they used to be when I was, particularly when I was younger, like, because the internet was sort of becoming the juggernaut that it is now. Like, online bullying caused people to kill themselves. Like it did, and you know, we've gone through a lot of that, and like, not just through the internet, but through other things. People are being accountable for their actions. Yeah. You know, people are suffering, and then those people are standing up and saying, no, I'm not going to suffer anymore. Y'all did this to me. And then other people are seeing it and they're saying, that's right. So, like, people, you know, your typical boomer will be like, oh, a bunch of snowflakes. And I'm like, no, it's not that at all. That's an incorrect way of thinking.
Yeah,
because it's not about that. It's about people not being discriminated against, about people having a voice and being allowed to enjoy things.
Yeah. The whole snowflake
and the
thing
more that it happens, the better it is.
Yeah, 100%. The whole snowflake thing, for the most part, I understand some of the points sometimes when people are talking about snowflake and current generation, but for the most part, I feel like it's like the people that are saying that, the boomers, and I think I'm a boomer anyway by age, but like when the boomers talk about snowflakes and millennials and that sort of thing and how soft they are, and you know, they argue about everything, or everything's an offense and all that sort of thing, I'm like, the first thing I think of is like, do you realize how many people in your day that you talked around thinking that everyone had the same belief system as you, that kept silent and suffered in their own mind because of it back in the day, that you're not even taking into account right now? Like, that's the part that I think about immediately. Like, that's just changed. Like, people are standing up for each other now.
How many people couldn't come out?
Yeah.
Like, how many gay people couldn't come out? How many people like were oppressed and unable to speak because that's the way it is? You know, like, how many people were bullied into submission, into believing a different thing about themselves, to lying to themselves? You know, like, and oh no, it's because now you're soft. No, it's because now you're strong enough to stand up. And before we weren't. Before we was just happy to be there and yes, we'll do whatever you like, and you know, like, it comes down to everything, and it's just, yeah, I'm really glad it's happening, because like, when you look at even within wrestling, it was a huge bullying movement there we had, you know, like, people would always call wrestling, you know, gay, and like, why are you doing that? It's all for gay people and everything, like this like real tough Aussie thing that all you have to do, you can only play football. You're only allowed to play football, otherwise you're not a man. You know, like, the world was a real different place even 10 years ago. I would argue even less than that, even 5 years ago. But it's a real good place now. We're moving in the right direction. We're moving away from, you know what, so what if I want to wear black finger? I should be allowed to have black fingernails. Like, you know, who cares? Does it hurt you? No.
One of the things like that myself and my wife used to love, or I still love, but we've been together for like 17 years or something now. So I'm like early 20s, right? And we used to love going to Perth, because obviously country's different. Everyone's the same. Usually, like, everyone's the same up here. There's no variety. Everyone's just country bumpkins. But we used to love going to the city and just seeing the variety of groups and different people, and you know, the different hairstyles and the different people that are in the city. We used to just love it. I used to just love going there and seeing all the culture. Like, we don't have that up in the country. Everyone sort of just wears board shorts and a singlet.
Well, I get it too, because I'm from a country in Victoria. I grew up in country Victoria, so for me it was the farmers would always pick on what I would do, because I was wrestling, you know, like, we would call them the farmers, because they're your typical, like, oh yeah, Struth, mate, get on the VBs, and then we'll go have a bash of footy, and then we'll get a barbie later on. But like, you know, like, those were the people. I'm like, that's just not me. Does it make me different? No, it doesn't make me different. I like to drink, but you know, at the same time, I'm not going to go to the old B&S ball with me Bundybergs. Like, you know, it's not interesting to me. What interested me was the spandex and off the top rope, and, you know, online stuff, content creation, all that kind of stuff. That's what interests me. It doesn't mean that I somehow have like a mutated penis or anything like that. I'm not a man. Like, you know, it doesn't mean that at all. And it's just I'm really glad that the world is in a place now where that stuff is, you know, we can like the things we like. That's something that we always say on my stream is that, like, don't yuck someone else's yum, because like someone might find the thing that you think is gross awesome. Like, because we do have music playing on my stream, I mean, we don't Twitch, don't look up, don't check, but because we have whatever music we want playing on the stream, people will come in and they'll be like, oh, you like that band shit. And I'm like,
really?
It's like a 3-minute song, dickhead. Just wait. Like, you know, you can put whatever you want on afterwards. Just, someone might need that song today. That song might have stopped someone from hurting themselves when they were younger. They might have lost a friend who listened to that song all the time. It might be really important to them. and someone on the internet just coming in being all like, oh no, that's shit, like, and then refusing to even have a moment to conversate about it and just be like, no, it's a shit song. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, cool, but that person now doesn't feel comfortable to share part of their life. And I think we are moving away from that.
It's that internet thing again. Like if you were in a pub and someone walked up and put a song on the jukebox, you're generally not going to walk over to that person and go, hey, that song's shit. Like you're not usually going to fare too well if you do that. So because there's this internet and there's a screen and a keyboard.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Hello, sir. I just wanted to let you know. Excuse me. Hello. Yes, me. I just want to let you know your music is shithouse. Like, I think it's horrible. Please put on something I would like to listen to.
Your music
like it's just not going to work.
Metal.
Yeah. And like for me, I don't like all music. There's a lot of stuff I love and a lot of stuff I hate, but I'm not going to sit there like, oh no, skip this song. It's garbage.
Yeah.
You know, Baby Shark notwithstanding, I'm typically going to let whatever plays.
That's the only song I can play on the xylophone.
But it might have helped someone through something, so you got to let it happen. And it's the same with everything now, is that we're finally in a place in the world where we're getting less of that. We're getting less people come through and being like bigots and racists and discriminating against like music taste and general taste in the world, and that's really, really positive. Like it's just a matter of respect. It's just respecting the person that you may never meet on the internet versus not respecting them. And it becomes really obvious when you're dealing with a community of people who do respect who the ones who don't respect are.
Yeah, definitely agree. And speaking of respect, Flavor Fade in chat just now, like just that little story that kind of sums up your journey there. I really respect the fact that you're able to come out and speak about things like that. Just on a side note, like
absolutely. Just looking at it there as well, like that's the thing, like the refusal to sit back while someone's being abused by anything. That's the thing. That's what we've found the most, I would say, in the last few years. That's the difference, because before, if someone was getting like abused, the amount of people who would stand up and say, no, that's not fucking on, like the amount of people who would do that, way less than now. Like nowadays, people do it all the time. And you know that I respect your journey. You know that I love your journey. As someone who's gone through a lot of similar shit, I definitely relate to it. But yeah, not letting other people step on other people is one of the biggest ups, I think, that we've got through this whole last few years. Sort of maybe just before, maybe a year before COVID really dropped. To now, I think we've really hit our stride as people. And I know this is definitely not streaming podcasts conversation right now. But that being said, everybody who is a streamer, everybody who is in the podcasting world, anyone who's on the YouTube, all these platforms, we all are either victims of or the product of or responsible for some form of bullying, especially online, and we should all feel respect. We should all feel that we deserve to do the things we're doing right now, whether it's be on the platform and be a force for positivity like myself, like I try to be, I always try to have like the right answers. I don't get it right every time, but I always try to have the right answers when it comes to mental health. All I can ever do is share my perspective on it, or how it's helped me, what I do to help myself, because I'm not conventional with the way that I address my mental health. But all I can do is give my experiences, whether it's someone like that or it's just someone playing video games because playing video games helps them be okay, or whether it's just being in the chat around people that you care about and who care about you. But no matter what it is, we're all in one way or another affected by it. So I think it's still a good conversation to have regardless. Yeah,
definitely. The fact that we're having these conversations is the biggest plus, I think, that's come out of the way the world's going now. That like I don't even know Flavor Fade in chat. It's not part of my community, but the fact that I can that she's willing to share just even briefly in chat like that is amazing. And I think that especially if you've been through a lot in your own sort of history and are able to turn that around and help other people that you see going through that now and knowing what position they're in and being able to stand up. That the online community has made it so that we can connect with so many more people that you would normally, like say 20 years ago when you're going through this stuff, it was really, really hard to find other people that are going through the same stuff and to even be able to stand up for them or to help them out with your own experiences and advice and help each other through things. Like online communities now is, while we're talking about the way that the online space has made it so that things like hate raids and stuff like that can exist, it also makes it a lot easier for you to find people that either need your help or that you can find community and help from yourself.
Connect with people
you would never have met before or been able to connect with before the internet and before things like Twitch and Discord and these places where communities are built.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's like a huge boon. Like, I really, really do. Despite it all, I think that everything we spoke about today is an absolute win. Because I don't know how long you have had to remember it, but I remember not having access to the internet correctly. I remember not having, if I wanted to talk to someone, you have to call them. I would remember even having to go to their house and hope they were home and things like that. So, like, the more connected we are, people say the more distant we become. But thankfully, it really feels like, even though we have been more distant from each other in the last 2 years than we've ever been before, it feels like on the internet we're getting closer together. And that is thanks to streamers. That is thanks to people like us and our communities. And, I know if you say Flavor Fade's not part of the community, but didn't you know the Anchor Club, we're taking over the whole world. We're definitely doing that.
We're all just in the
sooner
Anchor
or
Club,
later.
we didn't know it yet.
But the reality is that, like, we do connect each other. Like, we are all slowly but surely getting more and more connected. And with that comes hate, and with that comes jealousy, and with that comes bigotry and racism, because those things have always existed in our community, in our world. So it's honestly, we need to get over the next hurdle before everything is better, but we're still over so many more hurdles than we were over before.
Hopefully it's just a matter of, like, the small minorities of people that are still trying to spread hate through the internet that are kind of, I don't know, they're going to have to come to the realization that people don't agree with them, and there's people out there that, people aren't just going to stand back as individuals and cop it. There's people around people. I don't know how to explain that, but there's groups of people that are going to come at you if you do it. You're not going to be able to just get away with it.
I mean, I'll say it now. Everybody, every single one of you, every single troll, every single hate raid, you fucking come at me, all of you at once, because, like, there's no way that you can stop what we do. Like, we're gonna rise up, all of us. We're gonna do better than this, and if I need to wear that, as I feel like I always do, if I need to be Atlas, then so be it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more than happy to do that, because this doesn't affect me. We're doing good here, all of us. We're doing real good stuff. And I think that you'll see over the next few years that live streaming will replace television. Like, I think we spoke about it before, is that we're at a point now where live streaming and content creation, it will replace general TV, and then we'll have Netflix and things like that. But as far as, like, people's preferred content, a lot of it is this now. Like, I don't even know how a lot of people do this. I've got friends who spend 5-6 hours a night, every single night, in my streams. And people I've never met before who do that, because they enjoy the content, not because they feel like they have to be there, but because they enjoy it. So it's the way of the future. And we just got to be able to move forward with it.
You got to adapt.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now,
I feel like almost this last half of this stream has been one large rant. So we may leave off the rant today, I think.
That's all right. Have you got time to do the question? We've got one question from the subscriber,
Absolutely.
the Gold Club. Yeah, and it sort of ties into what you just touched on the end there. You're really, really good at that, actually. Like, just mentioning at the end of your little spiels, what we're actually moving into. Your segues are on point. So the question this week comes from Kai in the Goa Legends Club subscription part of the Discord, the very, very secret section of our Discord just for the Legends Club.
I wasn't even in there for so long, even when the show was on. I've only recently got in there.
Even like we only just kind of sorted that out because here at Go we're pretty casual. We get onto things at the last minute. So now the actual creative team has got access to that channel so that we can all mingle with you legends.
Yeah.
So the question this week comes from Kai again, and he's got a question about celebrities. What's your thoughts on more celebrities joining Twitch and becoming streamers? Do you think it will bring a more positive reception to streaming in the entertainment industry? It's usually been looked at with disgust from Hollywood. Or will it in some way oversaturate the platform and potentially bring negativity with companies and studios trying to do their classic BS somehow? The reason I ask is because there's some big rumors that big names like Vin Diesel, Henry Cavill and other celebs that are well-known nerds are looking at joining Twitch and streaming themselves.
I mean, it obviously brings its own set of issues. Like, you know, like these people are celebrities already. These people are already at a point where they don't need to worry about finances. And they're able to entertain people in ways that your average person can't. And one of the things about streaming that's really appealing is that anybody can do this. Anybody can just put a headset on and put a camera on and play games or talk or whatever it is. But moving into a world where celebrities are doing that and we are sort of losing a little bit of our the independent side of it, I suppose is the way to put it. That can be seen as either a problem or a benefit depending on your outlook in the world there. For me, I feel like having a lot of people, it depends on when they stream, you know. If they stream at the same time as me, screw them all. But the thing is that if they stream, like, depending on what they do, what their content is, what their goals are, I see no problem with it. If they're there because they want to, you know, they just want to entertain, then awesome. Then, you know, that's the, I don't know. Now, I'm getting myself turned around because the more I think about it, the more I think, no, I want those people. I want to watch those people in their super overproduced Netflix movies. I want to watch those people in The Witcher. You know, I don't want to watch them playing D&D. Like, and if I do, it better be overproduced with full animation and shit. Like, you know, because I want to see them do those things because they're the beautiful people. They're the people who are, you know, they're at the level where they can do all that stuff. Yes, they are just normal people, but you know, Twitch is a place to talk and to interact and to play games and to have fun and to meet people and all that kind of stuff. And we spoke about it before, but one of the things that we find with bigger streamers is that they lose that ability. Now, you take someone who's already mega, ultra, super famous, and you put them in the same position. I don't think that they're going to be paying attention when you subscribe, when you gift 50 subs. They're not going to care at all. They might just look over at the screen for a minute. They won't even have notifications turned on. So if you think that, like, you know, your 2,000 viewers guys now, your 400 viewer guys now don't pay attention, it's just going to be watching Netflix, except you pay money for a less quality thing. Like, whereas that time could be spent doing the projects, you know. Everyone always talks about how they want the next season of a TV show. In those situations, awesome, do it. In those situations, get the Buffy cast around for a stream every now and again and get them to talk about how they should have made more of it. Get them to talk about how season 6 of Angel should have happened. You know, like if you want to get people around that thing, I'm all for that. But don't take, like, you know, current famous heartthrob celebrity and put them in front of the camera on Twitch. Let them go do their product, let them go do their film, let them go do their Netflix, whatever it might be, because you're almost oversaturating them, you know. I don't necessarily want to see that person in their underpants, you know, try not to laugh challenges on Twitch. I want to see that person sword fighting and you know, throwing magic around and all that kind of stuff. That's just my perspective, I guess. And it's not because they would come to our platform and ruin our platform and make it hard for independent people, because just like the hot tub streamers, if people are coming to the platform to watch that person, chances are they're not coming to watch me anyway. So they don't have a real particular bearing on my quality or my content or my viewership, because they were never coming for that anyway. If they were, they'd be there now. So I don't necessarily think that celebrities coming on board would be a bad thing on that side of things. However, I think it would be a bad thing in the sense that we would become too familiar with them. It's the same thing with like wrestling. Wrestling was better when it was the no internet to see whose spoilers were going to show up, because back in the day you'd just be watching Raw and all of a sudden you'd hear like The Rock's music. You get the big "if you smell," and then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, The Rock is back, and you would not know. But now you go onto the thing and it's like, rumored The Rock to return on tonight's Raw, and like, it's gone. The appeal is gone because we know too much.
A sidetrack, I spent like 4 years watching every pay-per-view that came out, hoping that HBK's music was going to hit again at the end of the 2000s. I'm like, is he back? No, he's not back again. And by the time he did come back, I'd stop watching wrestling.
yeah. And that's what I'm saying, like, because like you used to be able to do that. You used to be able to sit there and wait for those things, but now you can't, because now it's everywhere. And I think the same thing would happen with these celebrities doing content. Is that they're everywhere. They're all the time. They're in front of the camera. I don't care anymore. I don't. Give me the celebrities who don't do any of that stuff. And then I become the art knob who only likes the celebrities that no one else likes. So for me, from my perspective, stay out of the platform. And not because I think you're taking anything from me. Not because I think you're doing anything, but do it because I want to watch you on your own platform do your thing best. Not because I want you to be here and, like how opening Pokemon cards. If you want to open Pokemon cards, do it on Instagram. Just send a picture. Look at it, cool. You bought a Charizard. Pretend like you opened it. Go and do it. Like whatever you need to do, go do it. But leave Twitch to people who aren't you. And not because I don't think you would do well here. I really, really do. And I think maybe it would be fun to watch. But sooner or later, and I tell you, it's probably sooner, I'm getting bored of watching The Rock on Twitch. Like, I'm getting bored of that. I want him to show up on Raw. And I don't want to know about it when it happens. I don't want to see him tasting his vodka on Twitch. Like, that's just my perspective. And now, look, we did rant in the end.
That's the rant. I should have put the bloody scene on.
Do you agree with that, though?
Well, no, I'm kind of a bit torn as well. I think if we're talking like the big celebrities, like the ones that were mentioned, similar to that sort of ilk, like your Vin Diesels and Henry Cavills, if they're passionate about this and it's something that they've really wanted to give this a go because they like the whole scene and they really like gaming and that sort of thing, they're not going to be able to do it all the time. They're busy doing movies and stuff, so I'd imagine it's only going to be like a once and every now and then thing for them. So I wouldn't mind watching to see how interactive they are and what sort of a person they are behind the scenes. Someone like a Henry Cavill, who I know is a big nerd, he would probably, I'd like to see him play some games. There is some B and C grade and D grade celebrities all over Twitch at the moment, which I like watching because I'm like, it's the guy from the In-Betweeners. Let's watch him for a bit. But in terms of those huge celebrities, I think that'd be good for the platform, for where the platform wants to go in terms of its growth. Like from the outside world looking in, going, I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan. I love the Marvel universe, but for some reason I've never heard of Twitch. I might go check out his streams, and then they only stream once every so often, and now a whole bunch of people have just found this platform and going, this is actually pretty cool watching people stream. So that's what Twitch would want to try and get out of it if they were to approach these sort of celebrities to do events on Twitch. So maybe
the more you spoke about it, I agree. Yeah, you're right.
Events would probably work really good.
Yeah,
but I
suppose my brain was like, they're going to be streaming every day.
No, so I don't think those big ones are going to, unless they find themselves out of work for whatever reason. And if they found themselves out of work and can't get a role anymore, it's probably for a reason that people probably aren't going to tune into them on Twitch either. So those sort of big guys, like in that sort of, because wouldn't you want to watch Ryan Reynolds play some Overwatch or something?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like once in a blue moon. But I guess my original response was like, no, they're going to be on every day, and then I'm going to get real bored of them real quick. But if it was like once every 6 months or something, like, Sure,
Yeah,
you know, like sure, as a bit of fun, why not?
Using him as an example, like Ryan Reynolds is hilarious in the stuff that they produce, but what if he streams like once a week and for 3 or 4 hours, and you find out that he's not that funny for 4 hours at a time?
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
When he can't write jokes.
What might work for me then, in a way to consolidate it in my mind, is that what about if these people did guest spots on other streams?
That would
be
cool.
like rather than coming in and doing like a big once a week, twice a week, once a month deal, rather than that, like finding like, you know, a certain thing that they vibe with, whether it be like you know, like Matt Mercer's the what's called the role thing, like his D&D group. I know they do Twitch stuff all the time. You know, like something like that, or you know, like finding like specialty outlets where they can help boost like a member of existing community as well. I think that'd be really, really cool. Because if the goal is to build the community, then build the community. You know, like if that's what the goal is, then that's a pretty cool perspective as well.
Yeah,
but I know what you're saying.
I think if they were to get somebody to come on for a big event, the other good thing about that is that they would, from what I've seen when they do it on like Facebook, I've seen some, like Ronda Rousey came to Facebook, and she came on a deal to Facebook, and pretty much I'm pretty sure all of the time, whenever you send in any subs and bits and stuff like that, or stars over there, it's completely 100% a charity thing for that.
Yep.
So she's obviously getting paid by Facebook to do it, and all the money that people send in goes to a charity. So
yeah, okay.
So if you did it that way, it'd bring something positive to the community as well as a whole, because it's not like they're earning it. Well, they are going to earn extra money. That's the only reason why all these people would do anything. I would like to see like a celebrity that streams every now and then just off their own back, like one of the big ones, just to, you know, if they're really into gaming and love gaming that much and they're that passionate about it, to not have even been approached by Twitch and all of a sudden they've just decided to even
of their own volition,
even chuck a very weak disguise on and see how long it can take people to notice that you're even streaming on Twitch would be really cool.
Absolutely. I can't think of anyone better to do that than Ryan Reynolds either, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just put Ryan
just
Reynolds
a
everywhere.
Deadpool stream.
Yeah, imagine the name of the stream is sort of Deadpool, but you had to kind of think about it to work it out, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be a viral thing once people figure out that he's doing it too. So.
Yeah, exactly right, and that would be good as well at the end of the day. But yeah, I guess that's my perspective there. Is just that I don't think it's a bad thing, but I also think that we would probably run the risk of getting bored of.
Yeah, you're worried about tarnishing someone's your opinion of someone in your own mind.
Yeah, because then I get to a point where I'm like, okay, cool. I've watched David Boreanaz play Vampire the Masquerade, and now I'm bored. Like, you know, like go back to Bones. You know, like you know, I just kind of feel like you know, in a pretty short while, the celebrity status of people would lower, because it's like, well, they're on Twitch. I can watch them in their underpants whenever I want. Like, you know, like
yeah, I think you're right. I think some of even the sort of C and D grade celebrities that I've watched on Twitch, like if there's some people that I really, really like the stuff that they've done outside of Twitch, and then I find out they're on Twitch, so I go check them out. There's that novelty period where it's like, oh, come check this out. This dude's on Twitch, and you might watch them for a bit, but then you do start to realize after a while, like, it's not actually that entertaining compared to what we're used to seeing with them.
Yeah, I much prefer
games.
watching them in their show or whatever it is. Like, and then if they're putting more time into one than the other, suddenly maybe my favorite shows get cancelled, you know, like,
yeah,
you know, like, and that sucks too. So, yeah, I guess my final word on that is please keep making the shows that you make. And if you can do it with the quality that you do it now, please keep doing it. If your show's been cancelled and I liked the show growing up, please do a Twitch channel where it's just you guys recreating the next part of the show, because I don't want to ever see it end. And outside of that, you know, just do the things that I've said, and that's all.
Yeah, so essentially at the end of the day, if you're a celebrity out there in Hollywood that's thinking about doing Twitch, you know, check in with the Warship first and see if he wants you to stream
Yep.
first.
Just send me a message.
Yeah.
send me a message, ask me, and then we'll go from there.
As the Anchor Club is taking over the world, they do need Anchor Club approval to come onto this platform.
Exactly right. No, yeah, and sooner or later, we're definitely going to have someone just standing out front of Twitch like this with just the headset on and the glasses, and just you can come in. That's fine. You can come.
Can I see some ID?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
I'm fucking Deadpool.
Yeah, I know, but still, ID.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so it's a funny one. I think good for the platform overall and growth and outside awareness of the platform. Like, that's what they'll always do it for if Twitch is involved.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually on Twitch, I can see, like I said, I can see your point too, because I've seen it happen with some minor celebrities.
Yeah. I mean, I watch a couple of celebrities as well on Twitch, and because he doesn't stream that often within my scope, like I usually end up streaming around the same time as him. I don't often get the chance to see it, but when I do get the chance to watch him, he's really entertaining, and that's the Very Polite Gamer, Mark Bonanno. Like when I get the chance to watch him, it's always a fun time. He puts a lot of effort into his stream, though. Like he's got a lot of like customized alerts, and he talks to the chat, and like right now he's playing Undertale, which means he's probably having like a real like deep conversation about it as well. And that kind of stuff's fine, just a bit of Auntie Donna's House of Fun, like like that's cool.
So I guess that's kind of the thing. If you're a celebrity and you want to come onto Twitch, make sure that you can somehow produce something close to the sort of entertainment you usually produce. Otherwise,
or at least what we produce.
Yeah.
If you're coming on a Twitch and you're a celebrity and your stream's not as good as mine, go away. Yeah. Like it's got to be like you've got to have that too, because that's the stuff that we like.
Yeah. So there's no way if like say Ryan Reynolds decided to do a stream, there's no way you could just put him in the corner of a screen to play video games and talk to chat. There has to be.
You can't just have like
there has to be
shirt
some
off
stuff
and
about it.
Yeah. You can't just do that. You can't just be like, oh, look, it's me, the famous celebrity person. I'll just get my clothes off right now and we'll just talk for a bit. And because I mean, I'm sure they could, but I want to see, like, the reason I go back to watching someone like Very Polite Gamer is because he's taken like the thing that we like and he's made effort to make it cool. Like,
it's almost
and
like
that's cool.
It's almost like a different role for them is the stream.
Yeah, it's not just like some like low like energy, low effort shit. Like they're actually trying, and I like that. So yeah,
cool.
That is my perspective on the things that we have spoke about this week. Next week we will be a lot more prepared, I think, because obviously we had a week off last week, and we're still dealing with the throes of new babydom here, and I had a real bad thing happen at the start of my week. We haven't spoke about it at all, but essentially I consolidated a couple of pages on Facebook, and when I did that, I lost 15 years of wrestling photos. I lost everything, like every single footage, every photo, everything from my whole career wrestling. There's like a handful of shots on my personal page, handful of shots on my Instagram, but other than that, everything's gone. So I've had a mess of a week. So
that's bad news,
I would assume next week
that.
things will be a lot better. No, it sucks, but there's nothing I can do about it. So
you can't. There's no way to reverse it. You can't.
No, because it was a merge. If it was like a deletion, it'd be a different story. But because they've essentially overwritten one page with another page, it's deleted everything. So, it sucks, but there's not much I can do about it. So, that was actually in preparation for a bit of a play on Facebook gaming as well. So, I'm not sure how that's going to all go. But at the same time, it's been a bit of a distraction this week. So I would think that next week we'd have a lot more to go on. You get a bit more of a rant out of us next week. And, after the week before, kind of just winding ourselves back up. So,
definitely. Looking forward to a rant. Looking forward to a proper...
Yeah. All right, time for my usual question there, Lukey. Where can they find you?
Thanks for asking, Chippy. You can find me here at Lukey Bangerz. But mostly you'll just find me in the Goal community. But if you want to try and search me out on the internet, you can find me here on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Twitch as well. But yeah, not streaming at the moment, of course. That's still in the works for probably later on in the year, the way it's going, but we'll see how that goes. Shippy, where can we find you, mate?
Well, so you can find me at the Warship on here, on Facebook, facebook.com/the Warship, where there are like 16,000 people. You'll find me on Instagram at the Warship as well. You won't find me at Twitter at the Warship still, because we're still trying to get that sorted out. I am _Warship there because they don't like fun. They don't like happiness. They don't like me to be happy. And that's the reality of the situation. Twitter have just said, hey, nah, fuck the Warship. We don't like him. Spit. And that's it. So yeah, you can find me there at _Warship. But primarily I am here on Twitch 5 nights a week, from Sunday to Thursday at 9:30 p.m. AWST.
So just quickly, there's no progress on the Warship on Twitter, but with the actual Warship.
No, the person who
Pretend Warship, I should say.
She's tried to get the account, but she can't remember how to log in.
Oh, that's right. So no progress.
No progress. I don't think we're going to get it at this point. I think I should change my name. But all the stuff I like to change it to, I can't find. So, yeah. It's a part of content creation that's difficult, isn't it? Is finding your own thing and actually having it available everywhere. So the second that anything new shows up now, I always do it. Even if I'm never going to go there, even if I'm never going to touch the platform again, as soon as like a new social media shows up or a new live streaming service shows up, the very first thing I do, straight, sign up the Warship. Good.
Next minute, you're going to be like
case.
The real Warship everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And then I have to go to every one of those pages and change it.
Every one of them. Might be easier than getting Twitter to change the Warship.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go. So yeah, other than that, I guess that's it for the night.
Yeah, I think we did it.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for watching us tonight. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Stay tuned for Lukey. Are you doing stuff tonight, or
no?
are you
Because
not?
we started at a late time. I usually finish at 9 anyway, so this is perfect for me to just drift off into the night, into the sunset.
Well, guys, thank you very much for being here, and cheers, as
guys.
always, we are Streamaholics, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Happy streaming. Hey legend, thanks for watching the show. If you want to make sure that you're up to date with all of the Game On Aus content here on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.